Zoe, who is CMAX?
CMAX Clinical Research is an early phase clinical trials unit based here in Adelaide. We've been in operation for nearly 30 years and we focus on phase 1 trials, which is where we look at safety, tolerability and establishing a good dosing regimens that can then be taken forward into later phase trials. And those later phase trials are usually in patients with medical conditions that need treatment. What
motivates you to go to work in the mornings?
Yeah, well, it's always been really important for me to feel that the work I do is purposeful and productive and it provides some benefit to society in general. So happily, all of those things are true of our work at a clinical trial site. And so I've been at CMAX for more than 10 years and I'm happy to say that I can still get out of bed each day, happy to go to work.
Why are clinical trials important?
Clinical trials are really where the rubber hits the road in terms of finding new or better treatments for health conditions. And so we specialise in supporting decision-making around whether there is merit to continue with the development of a new medicine or treatment. But other clinical trials evaluate whether those treatments work better than current treatments and in what patients they might work best. And all of these results assist government and healthcare systems to work out what medicines and treatments are likely to deliver the best outcomes and which should be funded or subsidised. And so the scientific rigour associated with clinical trials is important to support evidence-based medicines and medical decisions, which I think we can all get behind as a concept. I certainly wouldn't want my doctors to be using not the best evidence when providing my healthcare.
Do you think there needs to be more awareness around the role of clinical trials in healthcare?
Yeah, I think we can do more in this space. I think the COVID pandemic has certainly resulted in a broader understanding of the process in general. But, you know, I think there are still gaps around therapeutic clinical trials and other therapeutic areas, and that there are trials groups embedded across almost all aspects of healthcare and universities, conducting all sorts of research, not just clinical drug trials.
What can we do better as a collective?
The clinical research industry is quite fragmented, as is the healthcare system in general, and there are just so many stakeholders involved, and that's okay, but campaigns like the Power of One are a good opportunity to recognise all of these stakeholders and focus on the collective benefit that trials can bring to everyone involved, including the general public. And additionally, there is a fairly well-recognised skills shortage within the industry, and we could all probably work together better to create pathways for those looking for roles within the industry.
What is the most important thing you think people should know about clinical trials?
Well, that everybody benefits. And I think that people should know that the health benefits for clinical trial participants are really well recognised too. Even for healthy volunteer studies, they benefit from like really thorough medical follow-up. And I think people should also know that they're very highly regulated and that there are internationally recognised standards to which the data must be collected. And so people should be reassured about the integrity of clinical trial data.
What would a world without clinical trials look like?
Oh, that's easy. Without clinical trials, our healthcare practitioners would be flying blind. They wouldn't have any best practice guidelines and data to support their decision making. And so even though the development of medicines and devices might continue, it might lead to unsafe outcomes without objective data to support it.
How do you feel about the term guinea pigs in reference to trial participants and healthy volunteers?
Yeah, no, naturally, I'm not a big fan of that description. It makes it sound like clinical trial participants are not very engaged in the research process. And in actual fact, clinical trial participants are very engaged in the research and they have significant agency in the process. And our experience is that clinical trial participants know and understand they're providing a significant and important donation of their time and their data to advance healthcare, and they appreciate that.
In one word, how would you describe healthy volunteers and patients who participate in clinical trials?
Oh, it's a cliche, but heroes, seriously.
Now, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I have a very large garden that I've been unsuccessfully trying to tame for 10 years. So I really don't know what I'm doing, but I do love to get into it and have a play.